everyone, happy Sunday and welcome back to my channel. No, the title is not clickbait. I really did drop out of college. You're probably wondering, but Camille, didn't you graduate from college last year? Yes, I did, but if you didn't know, I did go to a different school before that, and no, I did not transfer from that school. I went to that school for 2.5 days and then dropped out and then just re-enrolled in the school that I ended up graduating from. This video is all about my college audition journey and experience. It's going to be partly educational and partly spilling the tea of that. Fun fact, I did also drop out of high school, so let me know if you want that story time. And again, yes, I did graduate from high school, but not my high school. I dropped out at the end of my junior year and then was homeschooled my senior year. That's just a weird story in and of itself. But let's get into the college audition story. Musical theater college auditions are absolutely nuts. I have known that I've wanted to be an actor since I was 7, and I didn't know what musical theater was for a time. And then when I was in 5th grade, they made us do a college project. I told my teacher that I wasn't going to college because I was going to be an actor. She would not let me do that. She said, no, you have to go to college, which I disagree with. Even though I did end up going to college, I don't regret going to college and I found it useful, but you don't need a degree, especially for musical theater. If you're gonna go into debt, find a different way. If you're gonna go in extreme debt, some debt might be unavoidable. And by the time I actually got to high school, I was like, okay, I wanna be a musical theater major because I learned that that was a thing I didn't know it was. I was never wondering, what am I gonna do in college? I knew musical theater major is the way to go. Big overview of how the process works. You first start by picking your material, working on your material. That's kind of the first thing you wanna do. You can end up picking it a little later down the line and you can change it, but it's just something that you kind of wanna think about first. Then, kind of right before your senior year starts, you wanna start working on the applications to the actual schools and working on your essays. Most of the time, you have to get in academically first or do your pre-screen first, or you have to do both of them at the same time before you audition. Every school is different, but that's kind of the general thing, is you start with applications and pre-screens. I recommend starting on the applications, starting on the essays before you actually start your senior year if you can, because it's a lot of work. You are applying to a lot more schools than the average person, most likely. You have a lot more work cut out for you there. Then you're gonna film your pre-screens, submit your pre-screens. That happens between September and November. And then you're gonna have your first on-campus auditions. You might have some of those in the fall. There are big unified auditions that like college coaches and college audition programs have. Moonifieds with college audition coach, Tap United, and musical theater college auditions, I think has something in New York too. Those kind of happen in the fall. Then in January, February, maybe March even, you'll have more on-campus auditions. That's also when Unifieds are. Chicago Unifieds, New York Unifieds, LA Unifieds. I might be missing a city, but those are the 3 big ones at least. And then you get acceptances, and decision day is May 1st. That is the big general overview of it. Now I'm gonna talk about my personal process of everything that I did and everything that I went through. I started preparing for college auditions by going to college audition workshops my sophomore year of high school. So before my sophomore year of high school, I have a college audition prep weekend. It was at Dallas Summer Musicals, but then it moved and it was in Waxahachie. I don't know if it's still there. I honestly don't know. And I went 3 years. So I went before my sophomore, junior, and senior year. That's kind of like when I started college prep. During my junior year, I visited my friend at his school, and I like sat in on some of his classes at his school, which is crazy. I was really thinking ahead. I did some college audition workshops. I did one on campus at Texas State in the fall of my junior year. I did one the spring of my junior year with the University of Michigan. That was in Dallas though. After my junior year, I went to Nexus, which is Texas State's musical theater summer camp, and that kind of preps you for college auditions. That was a 2-week camp. That was basically all of the prep I did beforehand, which is a lot. You don't have to do all of that, and don't stress if you didn't. I just really knew that I wanted to do that, and there were opportunities for me to prepare for it early, which is great. End of junior year is when I started thinking about material. This did change a lot. I started working on applications and everything in August. Basically what I did was write one essay that worked for almost everything. Some of the musical theater programs require you to write an essay for them as well. My Common App essay was a essay I wrote for one of the musical theater programs, and it ended up working for most of the essays that I needed. Work smarter, not harder. Try to write an essay that will work for most things. But yeah, not only do you have to write a Common App essay, and then some schools have different prompts and they want something different than the Common App essay, so you have to write essays for those. Some of the musical theater programs want you to write essays too, which you can't use the same ones because they're asking if you could turn any movie or book into a musical, what would it be and why, and how would you do it? Stuff like that. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I did my pre-screens. I filmed those in September, and then I refilmed some in October. I think I changed one of the songs. I choreographed my own pre-screen, which if you don't know, now that is one of my side jobs. So if you need help, I can help you with that. But I did choreograph my own. I really wanted to do that. I love choreography, and I did that a lot in high school. So I thought it would be fun to choreograph my own. I did it to Land of Lola from Kinky Boots. Kind of too hard for me, low-key, because I put every single trick I could possibly do in the dance. So it was exhausting. I filmed it on 2 different days because I was too tired to do all of the tricks right. I ended in the jump splits. It was crazy. So then I filmed a second day, and the first take ended up being the take because I was so tired doing all of those tricks back to back to back that if I didn't get it on the first take, I couldn't do it anymore. But the first take was good. My mom ended up filming it in slow-mo. It was not great quality because I said, I'm not doing it again. That was the best take. We're just gonna take the slow-mo part out. It was a little worse quality, it was a little blurry. Oh well, didn't matter. Good enough. Filmed my songs. The songs I did were Rumble, Rumble, Rumble from The Perils of Pauline, which is a golden age upbeat song. If you know the song The Girl in 13G, it's literally that song, but just slightly different. It's about a girl and her upstairs neighbor plays the piano too loud. That's literally what the song is. It's from a movie from like the 1950s. That was my main song. I think I did that for every single college audition. My second song was That's What You Call a Dream from Bonnie and Clyde. I also hired a college coach in, I think, June before my senior year because I really needed help with monologues. I got monologues from this college coach, and all of the monologues were, I'm 16, I hate high school. I think one of them literally started with, I hate high school. And I was like, these are so juvenile. I don't want to do just like I'm a teenager monologue. I wanted to do one that was more serious, but those were all of the monologues that I got. But I did get that song Rumble, Rumble, Rumble from them. So that was great. Then when I did the college audition prep workshop in August, I met with a different college coach and decided to go with them too. Thank you to my parents for dealing with that. But anyways, he was great. That was Dave Clemens. He was able to give me a lot more one-on-one kind of easing my mind. I really did not need a college coach. So I really regret that we spent so much money on college coaches. I don't, but I do in a way because it just wasn't needed. He gave me a lot of peace of mind, and I could text him all the time and ask for advice, send him my videos, things like that. Whereas with the other college coach, nothing against them at all. It just wasn't as personal of a thing. And I had met him and really liked him. All that to say, did my pre-screens in September. I think I met that early deadline. Still do 2 kind of rounds of pre-screens. I did some pre-screens early. Most of the schools I feel like require pre-screens, but some of them didn't. I passed a lot, didn't pass some. I had my first on-campus audition in October or early November. I think for that one, I sang Rumble, 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 and I sang Monster. The songs I varied between were Someone Gets Hurt from Mean Girls, That's What You Call a Dream from Bonnie and Clyde, Rumble, Rumble, Rumble was always it, and Monster from Frozen. And I had other song options as well. For my monologues, I ended up working with an acting coach that was just in my area, and she had really good monologues. She really knew how to find monologues because I still to this day don't really know how to find monologues. I still use those monologues she gave me my senior year of high school. They work, and I don't need monologues that much, but for college auditions, you need monologues. I used hers. First on campus audition went well, sang 2 songs, did a monologue, did a dance call that they did. Some people have asked me how this works. Your pre-screen is the only dance that is your dance. You only need 1 for the most part, unless you need a ballet one as well. For my wild card, I did a tap dance, but any other dance that they'll have you do, a dance call, will be something that they teach you. You don't have to bring in your own thing any other time. You just need one video of you doing the dance, and that's pretty much it. Then I did moonifieds, which was in Dallas, which is where I'm from, so very convenient. That was great because I got to audition for 17 schools in 3 days, which is actually crazy. Saved a lot of money in the long run because I don't have to fly all over the country auditioning for 17 different schools. You get to audition for more all at once. Some of the schools required you to pass a pre-screen first, but a lot of them you could just go to if you were going to moonifieds and you had done their application before. And I think a few of them you didn't have to do an application before. Crazy experience. After that, I got a lot of rejections, and I got a lot of rejections before I got any acceptances, which is kind of just how it goes. Some people will get acceptances early, but I do think that the schools kind of give out rejections more first, just kind of how it goes. Then I ended up going to Chicago Unified because Dave Clemens told me that there was a school that he thinks would be a good fit for me. And that is the only school that I signed up to audition for there because, like I said, I did moonifieds and I auditioned for 17 schools. So I got a good portion out of the way. I, in total, applied to 29 schools. So that's a lot. I probably got rejected from pre-screens from 5 or something like that. I really don't know. I'm just guessing because I don't remember at all. Chicago Unifieds, I did that one audition I had scheduled, and I also tried to do as many walk-ins as possible to schools that I had an audition for already. Not every school allows walk-ins at Unifieds, but some of them do. I was able to do 5 walk-ins plus the audition I had scheduled. So I did 6 auditions at Unifieds in Chicago. And I did that all in one day, which is crazy. I think I maybe had to do 1 dance call there, but I don't remember, honestly. But Chicago Unifieds, they have dance calls there too. We did a dance call at Moonifieds, which that's the good thing about those kind of auditions is because it's run by the college coach of Cap United or Moonifieds or whatever. It's a little more organized than Unifieds itself because they're all going through that one company. They have their own dance call. They send it to you in advance and you get to learn it and have time with it, which is probably really great if you're not a strong dancer or you're just not good at picking up choreography fast. That could be a benefit for you because you have more time with the choreography. You do that choreography for every school kind of all at once, and then you do your songs and monologues individually in each room. So it's really great and convenient because you only have to do 1 dance call for 17 schools. I did several on-campus auditions in January and February as well. I got my first acceptance in February. Then March 2020 happened. We all know what happened then. I did not get to visit any schools. I started planning on visiting schools and I did not get to visit. When I have talked about this experience before on TikTok of how I dropped out of college, everybody asks me what the school is, and I'm not gonna tell you what the school is because it doesn't matter and it's not about that. And they're worried or scared that that's gonna happen to them. And I'm here to reassure you to not be scared, to not be worried. I truly think that this was a freak circumstance with everything that happened of the shutdowns and all of the schools shutting down, not getting to visit. If you can visit the schools you get into or the ones that you're really considering, visit the school before you commit to the school. And I understand that financially you might not be able to visit every school you get accepted to, but if you went on campus for the audition, try to check out the school while you're there. If you didn't get to go on campus for the audition, try to go and visit, at least if you know if that's one of your top contenders or if you're considering going there. Visit first, sit in on some classes if you can, tour the school, watch a show. I think that that's very informative. And I know that if I was able to visit the school in advance, I wouldn't have gone there. So it really was just a weird circumstance. There was nothing wrong with the program. It just wasn't a good fit for me. And I didn't get to find that out because I didn't get to visit the school. That kind of disclaimers out of the way of you don't need to be scared of this happening to you. Let's get into the actual story time of that craziness. This school that I got into, that I ended up going to, was the first acceptance I got. I ended up getting more acceptances after that. I went to Missouri State University. That's where I graduated from. Spoiler alert, story time. And Robert Westenberg is the head of the program. He was at the time. He's not anymore, sadly. I love Bob. Bob, oh Bob. When the shutdowns happened, professors were freaking out a little bit. They had a lot going on with having to move all their classes online suddenly, and I'm sure that they were getting overwhelmed with emails from prospective students as well. I was placed on hold with Missouri State University in December. I auditioned at Moonifieds. After Moonifieds, some schools did this, immediately tell you kind of after that if you're rejected or if they're placing you on hold. So they won't give you an acceptance right away because they still have a lot more auditions to happen, and they only have so many spots. But they'll say, we either know that we're still considering you or we're not. He sent me an email saying, we like you, we want to place you on hold until, closer to March or April probably, when they'd send out acceptances. His email specifically said, if you still want to be considered, respond to this email. And if you don't, no need to respond. We'll take you off of the list. I responded to the email and Bob responded back to me. Okay, I'm on these Facebook forums, of course, as we all are. Callback corner-esque, but for high school seniors auditioning for colleges. Everyone, the second they get accepted somewhere, says it. Everyone's like, I got accepted in Missouri State, I got accepted, I got rejected. And I'm like, I haven't heard anything, which is really weird because I was placed on hold, so I should hear either way. I hadn't yet, so I texted Dave Clemens and I said, Dave, what is going on? Like, why haven't I heard from Missouri State? And he was like, let me talk to Bob, because that's weird, you should hear. He reached out to Bob, and Bob told Dave that, oh, we really liked her, but she didn't respond to my email. So Bob, if you're watching this, he's not, but if he is, Bob, I have beef with you this day because I did respond to your email. But it's okay. And he responded back. So he definitely got it. It just lost it. I understand. It's just the weird shuffle. 18-year-old me had a decision to make because he responded back to me. He reached out and he said, I'm so sorry this happened. I've already sent out all the acceptances though, and the slots are already filled. Like, people have committed to the school already. And he said, I could put you on a wait list over the summer if you want. And I said no. This school really wants me. I had other schools I was considering as well, and Missouri State lost my email. So I'm just gonna go to the school that really wants me, because it seems like I would like it just as much as Missouri State. Like, I'd maybe like Missouri State a little bit better, but they want me more, so I'll go there. What happened with me committing to that school, because I didn't get to visit, I had Zoom conversations with the heads of the program, things like that, with the different schools. I just think I asked a lot of leading questions that were, does your school have this thing that I want? And they were like, yeah, it does, yeah. And they were not lying at all. I just felt a little misled with the conversation because when I got there, it was not what I had perceived they had told me, which again is why it wouldn't have happened if I actually got to go. I asked if they leveled the dance. They said that they did. When I got there, I found out that they had never leveled the dance before. This was the first year they were ever doing it. And they also didn't level the dance, really. They just split the freshmen between ballet and jazz. They didn't have a dance program at this school. So I was like, well, you don't have a dance program. And they said, oh, well, it's still really, really good dance and really advanced. But when I got there, I felt like I was one of the strongest dancers in the whole school. And that's not a place that I wanted to be. I wanted to be in a program that would really challenge me in every area, of course. And also, this school had group voice lessons for a year. I went to the Texas State summer camp where they had a group voice lesson, and I believe Texas State does one voice, and I think they have a semester of group voice lessons, but it's more of like a workshop where one person goes up and sings and everyone can learn from it. They get corrections, but but like 4 people sing a class. I was under the impression, and this is my fault, I assumed that that meant it was gonna be the same thing as that. And when I got there, it wasn't. It was more of a theory class about the voice and learning about the voice. And we weren't going to be singing any kind of material. And I didn't want to be at a school for a year where I wasn't gonna be working on my voice or material. Those are some of the things and some of the reasons. They also had really strict rules that were in place for COVID and everything, which made me leave sooner. I think if it was any other year, I would have stuck it out that semester at least and then transferred. But the rules made it worse. The university had very strict rules already, which is fine, not mad at their rules at all. It felt very isolating and lonely, which when you're first getting to college and transitioning into college, that just makes it worse, you know what I mean? The day before classes started, the musical theater program sent out their own rules that they were going to be implementing on top of the university's rules. They said that you were not permitted to speak indoors in class unless you were explicitly given permission by the professor. I didn't like that rule. Most of them were on Zoom, almost all of them. And I think there were 2 classes that were in person. And we were still over 6 feet apart. There was tape on all of the desks, masked, of course. We weren't allowed to sing. We weren't allowed to speak. I was like, we're not allowed to talk. Musical theater class. There were lots of things about the program that just didn't align with me, those things made me leave quickly. I went to the first day of class. I cried a lot because it was very lonely. I didn't even get to meet my class while I was there. I met a few of them, but again, it was very hard. I called my mom like 40 times in the span of like 2 days. I was gonna try to stick it out the whole week. I did the first day of classes, I did the second day of classes. I went to my first class on Wednesday, and then I decided that I couldn't take it anymore. I called my mom. And again, it's nothing against the school, it's nothing against the program. It just wasn't a good fit for me, and those rules were making me very sad because I was very lonely and very far away from home, and I felt like I wasn't going to be getting a good education that semester, that year. There's just not a way you can get acting, singing, dancing with those specific rules of not being able to sing or talk in a class. The afternoon, they drove the 10 hours to come get me, and I left. And while I was at the school still, my mom was like, why don't you email Bob from Missouri State just in case. So I did, and he said that I couldn't come that semester because I think I asked him, could I possibly come this semester? And he said no, because the semester had already started, and with COVID, they had their classes spaced already and a certain number of people in it. That was already worked out. He couldn't add somebody in. But he said you could potentially start next semester or next year. And I said, I have 30 hours of dual credit. He said, oh, you could probably graduate in 3.5 years then. Come in January. We had a meeting first. I sent him my dance pre-screen and maybe a singing video again. I went home on Wednesday, and then Saturday, I got my official acceptance to Missouri State University. Yay, so great. Obviously, Missouri State still had COVID rules, and it still sucked being a musical theater school with masks on in general. And I still felt very lonely and it being hard to make friends at Missouri State, but it was way less intense. I felt like I could not meet or talk to anybody at the first school that I went to. And it still obviously was hard at Missouri State just because of the time, but it was way less stressful. I felt very stressed the whole time I was at that school. Again, nothing against the school. If you know what school it is, or you went there, or you go there, I have nothing against your school. I am so happy for you if you go there or you went there and you love it. That is so awesome. Every person is different, and just because I went to Missouri State doesn't mean everyone should go to Missouri State or that it's a good school or a good fit for everybody. You know what I mean? But thankfully, that program at that time was a great fit for me, and I am glad that I went there. I started in January, and of course, as we know, graduated in May 2024, and here I am now. Another reason I left that school so quick is because it was a very, very expensive university. I was going to be spending the same tuition money as in any normal year for almost all online school, and then when it was in person, not allowed to talk, we're not singing, we're not doing scenes. It was so expensive. And if you left and withdrew before the second week of classes started, you didn't have to pay any tuition money. So I was trying to stick it out to Friday. I was trying to stick it out to Friday so bad, but I just couldn't do it. And I left on Wednesday, and I clicked drop out, and I withdrew from all classes and dropped out of the school. Yes. So college dropout, but then I went back to college and I obviously graduated, but I did drop out. So that's the crazy story. Let me know if you have any questions about it. Again, nothing against the school. I wanted to just tell you all my honest experience, and my experience is not everyone's experience. I'm not gonna tell the name of the school because again, the intention is not to drag the school. There was nothing wrong with the school, just wasn't a good fit for me. And let me know if you have any questions in the comments or about college auditions, because they're crazy, but we're going through them right now. It's scary, but you've got this. Try your best to not put pressure on yourself and to just go in and have fun and show them what you can do. And you do not have to be at your 100% best. They are looking for potential. Just show up and give the 100% that you can give on that given day. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this crazy story.
Subscribe, comment,
and break a leg in all of your college auditions. Bye.